Most network breaches don't start at the firewall. They start one floor below, at layer 2, where the switches live. Welcome to Module 3, Lesson 8. Over the next few minutes, we'll walk through the most common switch-level attacks, and more importantly, the exact hardening steps that shut them down before they ever reach your users. Here's why Layer 2 deserves that attention. The access edge is where users physically plug in. Every wall port is a potential doorway, and most of those ports sit in hallways, conference rooms, and lobbies where nobody's watching. Layer 2, attacks are quiet and local, so they rarely trip the alarms your firewall or IDS are tuned for. And because everything above runs on top of the switch, one compromised port can quietly undermine every control you've built higher up the stack. So let's meet the usual suspects. MAC flooding overruns the switch's address table until it gives up and floods every frame, handing an attacker a free packet capture. VLAN hopping abuses DP auto-negotiation or double-tagged frames to jump segments that should be isolated. DHCP spoofing plants, a rogue server to push a poison gateway. ARP spoofing forges replies to slide into the middle of a conversation. And CDP or LLDP cheerfully advertise device details to anyone listening. Notice the pattern. Every one of these rides on a default convenience feature the switch ships with turned on. Here's the good news. For every one of those attacks, Cisco ships a built-in countermeasure. Port security caps the max allowed on a port, shutting down flooding. Disabling DTP and changing the native VLAN closes the door on hopping. DHCP snooping filters out rogue servers. Dynamic ARP inspection validates every ARP reply against that snooping table. And BPDU guard kills any edge port that suddenly starts speaking spanning tree. The pattern flips. Each default convenience now has a default defense waiting for you to turn it on at the access layer. So let's turn those defenses into a working checklist. The configuration pass you'd run on every access switch before it ever sees production traffic. Lock down access ports with port security and hard set them to access mode with none negotiate. Move the native VLAN off VLAN 1. Enable DHCP snooping with ARP inspection. Riding on top, drop BPDU guard on your port fast edges and shut down unused ports into a parking lot VLAN. None of these alone is enough. It's the layering that makes the access layer genuinely hard to attack. And that's Lesson 8 in the books. Layer 2, security from the threats up through the hardening checklist. Next time, we're going deeper on the two features that quietly do the heaviest lifting, DHCP snooping and dynamic ARP inspection in full detail. If this clicked for you, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so Lesson 9 lands the moment it drops. Full course is free on YouTube and over at Dargslan.com. I'll see you in the next one.